mode. Everything closed this late, but your contact. Here to catch a vibe, you might catch a little contact. Only thing showing this late be the freak show.
Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome back to Ace Podcast Nation, and I've got a little special episode today about grassroots football. We've got a new series coming up on the channel following a grassroots team and their progress. So I thought, who do I want to speak to about grassroots football and some of the problems, some of the good things? Wow, that person wasn't available, so I asked for Dave. Ex-Cardiff City defender, ex-Man United defender, Mr. Dag Brazil. How are you, my friend?
I'm very good, mate. Very good.
You should be. It's
good
the
to see you
third
again.
time I've said that to you.
I know.
No, it's all good. No, it's yeah. So I want to talk to you about grassroots because obviously you're still involved in football with Tre Thomas Bluebirds, not Tre Harris.
No, get out.
Director of football, is it? Is that the official sort of term, or is it just
Director of football consultant on the committee, basically. So I was first approached last November by Rhodri Giggs, who's connected to the club at the moment and has been. And I had a meeting with the chairman, Dave Evans. So Dave's a local Cardiff boy, moved up to Tre Thomas many years ago. And we had a meeting, sat down, and basically wanted me to come in to raise the profile of the club, use my experience and how we could take the club forward. So I come away from the meeting because before I went into the meeting, I was like, look, I'll do the courtesy of going to the meeting.
Yeah.
But I come away from the meeting and the enthusiasm of the chairman and his ideas for going forward matched what I could see I could do. And from that day, I just said, yeah, I'll do it. And, you know, I've been there, I think it was 7 months now, 8 months, 9 months, nearly 8 months, whatever. So I said to him, I said, look, I'll come in. Don't make a big hullabaloo about it. I'll just, for 6 months, I'll have a look at everything from the reserves, from off the field, the first team, and I'll give you a little report after 6 months. So, got in. Everyone was fantastic at the club. I was surprised at the standard of football as well, because you know we're in the Ardell South. I was getting this wrong. Southeast, which is 2 divisions below Welsh Prem.
Yeah.
So his idea was within the next 3 or 4 years to try and get in the Welsh Prem. So you know why not?
Yeah.
But obviously you've got to get promotion to the Ardell South, which is one below. And there's a lot of good teams there, like you know, the Eccles and Avonlidos and Britton Ferries, and so difficult.
Some big teams there, isn't there?
Massive team. So I went in, and we've had a great season. I've absolutely loved it. I've kind of like, even though I go and watch Cardiff City because I work there, when I've been to all the Tre Thomas games and all that, you're obviously this close to it. You know, you're this close to it.
Yeah.
You watch the players, and the standard's really good, really, really high standard. And then we've got a manager there, Mark Dunford, who is, you know, he's only been managing 3 or 4 years. And his first year, 2 seasons ago, they won the FAW Cup. Last year we won the FAW Amateur Cup, which is 250 teams, which it was a fantastic. You know, we had some brilliant nights.
What sort of teams did you play in on the way to that then?
On the way to that, well, we played, most notably, we played Bangor.
It's a big team, that is.
We went up to Bangor, which a lot of their boys are nearly full time.
I was going to say,
And
Bangor
we won 2-1.
played Champions League not long ago, didn't
It was a great trip up, and their manager Jono as well was fantastic. In fact, the whole Bangor fans they stayed around and clapped our players as they were warming down. But we had a great trip up there. It was a great trip back, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And the bus trip on the way back reminded me of my Cardiff City days. Like I can't remember much getting off it. So it was a great trip. But then we played in the semi-final then against Pendarren, which is not Pendarren. Okay, this right, Llandudno Wells, is it?
Yeah.
Been here a while.
Well done.
And we were 3-0 down after half hour, 10 men down, 1 man down. came back, won 4-3. So it was bonkers.
Well,
And then we beat Denby, who were flying in their league. We beat Denby in the final 2-1. And we lost a couple of players at half time. But the whole thing, I mean, for me, Trey Thomas it's weird. It's kind of livened me up again.
yeah.
I mean, when you talk about, because you go and watch games, whether it's Premier League or you watch Championship games and all that, and sometimes it's not real. But when you're actually watching a game, when you're literally from here to there from the players, and you watch how our manager Mark Dunford and his assistants, you know, Di and Rayo and Muro, how they prepare. It's fascinating how they prepare for it and the detail that goes into it, and then to actually watch it being delivered on the pitch. We play at obviously Ustrad, which is not in Trey Thomas, but because our original home ground was in Trey Thomas, but because the levels that the team has gone up in Tier 3 now, you can't play there.
Yeah.
So you've got to play at a ground which is the Ustrad Mullick Centre, where you've got to have the facilities. Otherwise, you won't be in that league. It'll drop you 2 leagues down. So really, we organised the Man United Legends game, which we did that for the Parish Trust, which was a fantastic day out. We've brought in a new reserve team manager, assistant manager, and first team coach, reserve team coach. So we're trying to build the club up as much as we can off the field. You can never be in control of what happens on the field, and to be honest, a few people have said to me, "Oh, do you get involved with the first team?" Not really, no, not at all.
No.
I speak with the manager quite regularly, and if he wants to ask me something, advice, what do I think on it, I'll let him know what I think. But he's been superb. We're trying to go for the league this year, because I think as well as we did in the Cups last year, we played 12 extra games.
Yeah.
So coming towards the end of the season, for 2 months we were playing every 3 days. And
there's
injuries.
no time to prepare, no time to recover,
no training,
no time, nothing. Yeah.
And you're constantly playing on muscle memory of these players who 2 weeks before had won the cup, which takes a lot out of you.
Of course, yeah.
So hopefully we can get promotion this year. It'll keep the chairman happy. But it's just about trying to, at that level, and because I've seen a lot of other clubs around there, like your likes of Newport, Chepstow, Lisweri, Risca. A lot of these clubs, including ours, depend on sponsors as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know people? You know, whether it's local sponsors to try and raise that, to make, you know, the kits nicer, the training balls are nicer, everything is more professional. But yeah, I've had a fantastic time there since. So.
Yeah, it's funny you said like that. It like exhilarated you and kind of reinvigorated you, because what I found is so I follow my boys' team, 14s, 15s, but I'm very good mates with the coach, so we would talk about it a lot. And now he's kind of roped me into helping him as well now. But like, I find that because I go to the training, my boy trains every day, with them play Saturday or sometimes Saturday, Wednesday. Like, I'm so invested in that team because their team, I started it at under 6s, and then because of my health, I like under 9s or 10s. I kind of said I need to just watch my boy and I'll just leave it, and then I've sort of gone back to it. But I've always gone to like every game, every training session, and like they didn't lose very much last year. But when they lost or when we had like a bad result, me and him are just like, it's the weekend's gone, like, do you know?
Yeah.
But the highs, they got promoted, and it was just, it reinvigorated my love of football.
Yeah.
Like, I get a bonus to spend time with my boy, like, all the time, training him and doing all that. But like, just the enthusiasm for the team and talking to the two guys who do the coaching and stuff, and right, what can we do, what we're gonna do, where we can play this guy, the blah blah blah. What do we want from my boy? Because he's a fucking nightmare, but he's very good. So you're trying to manage that. Like, he'd be like, if he just shut up.
But it's amazing that does that to you, because like the reason I said that was that most of the games I watch is either on telly or if I'm working at Cardiff City. When you're working, it's different to just watching a match. So you're trying to watch what's happening in the game, so you don't really enjoy it. And then when I started with with Thomas Bluebirds, the first game, then maybe the second or third game, I think the first game I watched was in the Welsh Cup at home, and we beat Salford West, which was my old club. And it's exciting and nervous. But then the league games, I was watching the league games, and it was like, because the job I do now is quite a stressful job, so to be able to leave that and then go and watch football where there's no pressure on me, you know, and watching it, and you get to know what the players are like, and you get that you've invested in the players and what personalities they are, and what the personality of the manager, the coaching staff, the committee, the chairman, and you see their joy of going 1-0 up against one of the teams in the league who are probably like fourth and bottom, but the joy from like everyone around you, probably 30-40 people, and you think, this is why I love football.
Yeah.
Because you see the joy and the smile when the final whistle goes and we've won 2-0, and you see committee members or the chairman or the manager, and they're all like, and you invest in that, and it's like, you think, this is why I love football, because what it means to people.
Nothing else does that to you.
Oh,
does it?
nothing.
Like,
and then I could go the next day and watch my daughter's Ava's team, Court Rawlins under the 13s last year, and the same thing. I'm watching it, and like I'm part of the coaching setup, but it's difficult to do that as well as be a dad and watch.
Yeah.
So I did get sent off last year, and it wasn't even my fault, to be honest, from the touchline. But I got a 1-match ban, which lasted 4 months because of the weather. But it was the longest ban. But even with theirs, if they're 2-1 up, and I'm looking at the ref, blow, 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 I don't get that feeling when I watch Premier League games.
Yeah.
You know, and when I'm watching Cardiff City games, it's because I'm working. It's difficult to have that, like, because you're constantly in work mode. But whereas that release of Thomas, release of the girls in the 14s, and watching it and seeing the mistakes they make, and seeing the joy on the parents and the kids when they score, it's just, it makes you realise that, like, I'm 54 now, and it makes you realise that, how did I start liking football? Did I like it because my dad played it, or it was just, I was always footballs in the house? It's when you see that, and I think Thomas Bluebirds is giving me that back.
Yeah, I can understand that fully.
It's this amazing feeling. Probably the same for you.
Yeah, like last year, we had to get, I think, like 3 points towards the end of the season to get guaranteed promotion, and then we were kind of still going for the league. And in this game, we went like 2-0 down in like 2 minutes, and we were just like, oh, they all look really nervous, and it was just like, oh, it's getting to them. And then suddenly they just sort of went, no, we're not having this. Kicked into gear, played their football, won a game. And I remember when it went to 3-2 quite late on, like the parents, the coaches, the kids, like everyone was just going nuts. Like, and just because it was like that release of emotion, because they had felt the pressure of just getting that final couple of points or whatever, and they'd been on like a, you know, from Christmas to the end of the season, just winning and drawing and getting these good results. And it was just like, I wish I could have, like, and this is part of the reason why we're going to be filming this team now and going and following them around the season, is because there was moments last year, like I said to you earlier, my boy scored a goal, and I know it's my son, but I could bring in anyone else who was there. And there's a boy actually who was playing on the other team who plays for us this year. And even his dad come up to me when he joined a couple of weeks back and said about this goal. It was ludicrous, mate. It was one of the best goals I've seen in person. Just like chested it down 30 yards out, hit it on a full volley, and it just went like an arrow into the top bin off the.
Where did you get that technique from?
From me, obviously. We were working on it constantly, haven't we?
Okay.
He's been watching videos of his old man.
It's great, isn't it? Because you see what they're starting off doing. That, you know, when I look at the girls doing it, I think they're starting off doing something that I did when I was that age, that I didn't know where my life was going to go. But even now, to some of them girls who play in Ava's team, including Ava, they're starting to get that competitive streak in them now as well, whereas initially grassroots football is to encourage kids to play. But when they've been playing together for 2 or 3 years, if your competitive streak doesn't come out, then you probably shouldn't be playing.
Yeah. Like, I think when you get to 13, 14 and you start playing the league football, because obviously from like, I think it's up to 10s or 11s, at least it is in Cardiff. You don't play league football, which I don't agree with as it was. Like when I played, you played league football from the first time you started playing. Like I think you need that competitive. I understand some of the things why the Welsh FA don't want it to be like they don't want you to keep track of the score, and they don't want you to have a league.
I've seen some games last year on the Spawn group or whatever. I think 19 there. I'm thinking, what does my nut in? I gotta be fair, is like under 13s they play on the mini pitches with the mini goals. Like this year they're going up to under 14s full size pitch. Yeah. And full size goals.
So they don't. Now they don't do anything in between, do they? They should do.
I don't understand
full
why
size pitch with three quarter.
Because you're gonna put somebody who. Let's be fair. No one wants to play in goal. Like in our team, no one wants to play in goal. So eventually we got someone to play in goal, and because the goal wasn't that big, they could make some saves. But then you're talking about a goal that a 30-year-old wouldn't be able to save shots. And like they're in this goal and they're swamping it, and one long ball over their head, and it's in.
No chance,
So all of a sudden you've got kids then thinking, don't play in goal. Yeah. I just don't want to play football, and you have tears, which is horrible. I hate it. It's like when you see the tears, it's like. But then you're thinking you're putting this young kid who's like 13 years of age, average height,
in these
huge goals, and the FAW are going. Grassroots football is we've got so many kids and all that, but you're going to lose kids.
100%, mate. It's,
and that kid won. I know for a fact. I've seen it for years now. Don't want to play in goal. Yeah, but it wasn't your fault. The kid can't even reach. They can't even reach the thing.
I can barely reach the crossbar with a jump, mate. With a step ladder.
But how is that trying to encourage teams to play? Because you play against an opposition team, you always have one or two who can leather the ball.
Yeah, of course you can.
And all you got to do is get a bit of height on a free kick,
and it's
in. I mean,
well, my boy was being a goalkeeper. The older boy has been a goalkeeper since he was 7, all the way through. He only ever wanted to play in goal, but he was also a big boy. So by the time he was 13, 14, he was 6 foot. And even when the first season they went into the full size pitch and the full size goal, it's like. And he was decent as well. He played for academies and that, but like it was like he just couldn't get to it, and he was tall as well, and it was just like so demoralising then, because it's not about whether he was good enough or it wasn't like I got that technique wrong. It's nothing he can work on. It's just
I just don't understand why it's never been brought up before.
But you know what's
insane? You haven't done something about it. Even if you kept the width of the goal, but then had this with technology now, you could half that. You could put it like not a bar, but you could put something across. Yeah. Well, so and you've got a lower net. So if it goes over a certain, I would say hand distance, so just above hand distance, where kids can jump. Yeah. Just have something there, which is attachable to the goals. Yeah.
But then when he used to go and train with the academies, or you go to goalkeeper camps, they use 3/4 goals. So it's just 3/4 of the full size goal, and it's the perfect size for like young kids who are just going into that full size pitch, because it's big, so you want it to be big enough that it's like, we're going up a level now, but they can get to the corners if they dive, and then and it's just it's frustrating. The other thing which frustrates me is this season now they're going into under 15s, and I think there's 4 teams that are folded, so that's 4 teams worth of players. All right, so like we said, most teams, even teams which maybe struggle with results and stuff like that, they've all got 1 or 2 players who are good. Yeah. Most teams have got that. So they'll get picked up by the clubs. But you've got like 4 teams who've folded, and they're just not going to play football no more. And that makes me frustrated. And as I was telling you, like my boys' team, when the reason he's in the team he's in now is because there was a group of his teammates which got basically told, you're not good enough for us, and they kind of just got shunted to, and they wouldn't have played. None of those boys would have been playing football now. But for Gareth, who's the coach, he said, no, I'll go with them. We'll go in the bottom league, and we'll just we'll just try and get them playing and try and improve them. And then they've pushed on. They had, that first season was brutal. 10-0, 9 players.
Yeah, but if you've got the right people in charge, I mean, I can't name any teams and I can't name any people, But going to watch my daughter's team, called Roland, last year and the year before, you would go to games and the people managing the opposite side, you wouldn't even give them a job delivering newspapers.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they were just so unprofessional. I know it's not professional then, but there was no etiquette. They were just animals on the side. And you think, what are your girls learning from that? And I just...
there's, you said about your ban, the longest ban in history, right?
It wasn't even my fault, mind.
Yeah, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't his fault. But
I just said, I actually clapped the referee because he gave a free kick against to us.
Mm.
And he come over and he said, yellow card. What's that for? He said, for sarcasm. I said, probably should have said nothing.
Mm.
But I said, oh, okay. He said, yeah, I'm going to report you for sarcasm. And I said, oh, well, I'll report you for turning up 45 minutes late while the girls were in the rain. So he gave me a red card. So
he didn't like that then.
But he asked me to move, and he even said to me, go and sit in your car. I walked here. So, and then I had my ex-wife, Ava's mum then. She went, you should know better.
Yeah.
And I said, you don't know me anymore. Probably not the right thing to say, but
no, so in that first season where they were kind of a bit mismatched and whatever, we played a team, which I won't name. I had a rant about this before, but very quickly. Basically, the players and the parents on the other side were very aggressive, and they were stopping the game. Every time the ball went out for a throw-in, they would be arguing. They'd be arguing with the ref, the coaches, saying, "Oh, that's our throw." Every throw-in, so you'd every 2 minutes, to the point where some of their boys were just shut up and let us play football.
Yeah.
So in the end, so our coach Gareth said, if you don't stop it and just let them play, we're going to go.
Yeah.
Because it was getting nasty. And there was also bubbling under because some of our parents then are getting frustrated with it.
Yeah.
And my boy was about to go on the wing on their side, where all their parents are. And I'm thinking, I'm going to have to go over there because it's going to be quite intimidating for him. a load of adults just screaming and shouting and swearing and being really aggressive. What sort of dad am I if I just leave him deal with it,
It's a difficulty, isn't it?
And, he was, 11, 12? So eventually they carried on, and Gareth said, no, come on, done. He got banned. He's got a suspended thing for 3 years. So if he does anything, if he gets anything like a red card or anything, he gets a massive long ban. And all he did is protect bunch of kids because the behaviour was unacceptable.
Like I was protecting.
Yeah, exactly.
Girls for being in the rain.
Exactly that.
And I had a £10 fine and a 1 match ban.
But what should have happened is that team should have had some sort of punishment or whatever. But we got punished for not completing the game. And it's what are you doing? You can't have it both ways. No. You can't have it on one side, respect the referees and this and all these different projects which you get kind of bombarded with, but then on the other side go, well, we're going to take it off because of the way you're behaving and the aggression. The kids, isn't it?
But there's so many lessons to be learned, but
we all get a bit overexcited.
Do people listen though?
No, they don't. There was a point last year, there was a game, and I was getting a bit frustrated, and this guy said to me, you need to chill out, you do. And I was like, yeah, I probably do. And so I went and just had a little wander, and because I don't want to be that guy.
No.
But also, we're very passionate about it, and we put a lot of work in.
Listen,
and
you can't let it spill over to the players, so you do that, and it's
exactly
but
that.
What is annoying? It's difficult to do as a parent. If you see someone, and I've seen it last year, someone from the other side, don't know whether it's a parent or a coach, and all that, criticising one of your team, one of the young girls or boys, or whatever. It's difficult then not to say something back.
Of course it is. 100% difficult.
And it's but
there is a team who have got a guy who's their ref, who we played twice last year. And when it's their home game, when it's your home game, you have to provide the ref. Yeah. Normally it's a coach, innit? But they've got a ref who's not a coach, not a parent. He is just their ref.
Yeah.
He's a cheat.
You lost, did you?
We lost 2-1, but he is a cheat. And what I said to him because he said to one of our parents after he had refused a penalty, and this guy who was frustrated, his parent, is the most, and I mean the most quietly spoken man you have ever met in your life. I've never heard him swear, I've never heard him raise his voice. He is so quiet. It's just a nice bloke. But even he was like, you just, at this point, you are just a 40-year-old man who is cheating to win a kid's football match. And you're spoiling it for all these kids who are trying their best. And it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
and that's not what it should be about.
No, but that's always been around, hasn't it? You always get people who, doesn't matter how they play, they're quite happy to go down the pub after on a Sunday and go, oh, my team won 3-0 today. Don't care. There's no progression with the children. There's no, progression with the referees or anything. That's their life.
Yeah.
Rather than, you're trying to teach the children what to do, trying to make them better players, better people. But you get certain managers or coaches that are at that level, grassroots level, where they just want to win. They don't care. So they can go down the pub with their mates and go, yeah, the girls or the boys won 4-0 today. That's their life.
Yeah.
Sadly.
And it's like, one of the things that we take great pride in is that we're not just trying to help them get better as footballers, and we want them to win and we're competitive, but also being a teenager is hard.
Yeah.
And it's trying to help them get through that, and a lot of them will come to us and say if stuff's going on or whatever, and that's what you're trying to help them. And like, if you're just behaving like an arse,
you try and have 21, 13-year-olds that have their own WhatsApp group, and us coaches don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I can handle that.
So it's just, but we'll see what happens.
Grassroots football is important, isn't it?
Yeah.
The one thing which I've noticed with all my boys now is they've kind of gone up through the ages. There's only one now left playing, but there's no refs. When I used to play Parks football, I would say 9 times out of 10 you'd have a ref who would come and do the games.
Fair in the girls,
one ref.
We've got 2 or 3 good refs, and they're young. They're only like 16, 15, 16, which and like, for me that's great to see.
Yeah.
I mean, last year we had one referee. He must have been probably in his 40s. And he had the sweatbands. He was the full checking all the studs, checking all the boots and all that. And I thought, oh god, here we go. Mm-hmm. And he just stopped the game all the time. Kept blowing everything. Foul throw. And you think that girls at that age, foul throw, let the girl take it again.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But no, he was giving it the other way. Yeah. And you're thinking, come on.
Someone wants to be centre of attention.
Just let the girl try it again. If she messes up again, then give it.
But don't get it.
But try it again and just. Well.
Yeah, it's frustrating, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
What would you, if you were in charge of grassroots football, can you think of 3 things that you would change now, on the spot straight away? Put you on the spot a bit.
Well, it's the size of the goals. The from going to the 13s to the small goals to full size goals that adults use. That one, I would look at that somehow and try and. I keep the pitch as big as it is, because that's not really a factor to them. No. Because it works on our fitness, it works on positional play, the whole that, but definitely the goals. I would make sure, for grassroots football, I would say you always have a ref. They've got to do more in terms of attracting referees to come, because if you haven't got a ref, then someone from your side does it, and that's always going to cause problems.
Of course it is.
Or someone from their side does it, which is always going to come, they're either going to miss something or whatever. So that one, I would say the FAW need to invest more in young referees of female and male.
Yeah.
And they'll probably, if they watch this, they'll probably say, we've got loads of it. I don't see him.
Yeah, I don't see him either. I think they...
I don't see him.
I would assume they do the men's games on Saturday.
And secondly, at the last point, I would make it a summer league.
Yeah, spot on.
I would, because Ava's team last year, like I said, they went 4 months without a game.
Yeah, I think...
And you just think to yourself, they're all excited, and you go down, oh no, the refs called her off, or we've had to call her off, and then you go for months and months and months and all, and you think, whereas if you started, possibly, look at the weather now, it's not, but if you did it from, say, March to September, when they go back to school, just that time then, just do it where the pitches, the pitches would be a little bit but you guaranteed you'd have more games. You could have evening games as well. So you get an evening game, a weekend game. Okay, we can't play this weekend, but we can do it Wednesday. Can you do it Wednesday?
Yeah, exactly.
So just because there's just too many times where you play one game in like 2 months and then all of a sudden 3 more weeks off, and then it's hard to get them all back together then.
Yeah.
So
They kind of get used to not playing on a Saturday.
I would go summer.
Yeah, I think we lose like December to January, end of January every year, and it's just like
December, January, even February last year.
Yeah, and like
3 months
for the boys as well. For our boys, like they'd had that bad season, and then they started off the season pretty well, and then from start of the season to December, they were flying. They had that genuine momentum of they were winning and they were confident, and then suddenly it's like boom, nothing for like 3 months. Yeah, and then they struggled a little bit when they got back to get up to speed and that. But
it's been mentioned before about summer leagues. Why don't they try it 1 year?
They can't get the posts down quick enough in Cardiff for the baseball pitches. But no, I've never seen any bloody baseball games on.
Well then, for the last 2 years, myself and the coaches for Ava's team, we've had to get there, put the goals up, take the goals down. So, like, I don't know if you can get in between, but make bigger goals, but not as big as the main goals. So
I know they got them. Like I know that there's 3/4 length goals because up in Rumney,
they cost money, don't they?
Yeah, of course. And this is the thing: is the funding for grassroots football is just horrific, isn't it?
No, it's always a big figure, isn't it? So, but
what would you like to do with True Thomas Bluebirds this year?
I'd love if we got promotion.
So that would take you to two tiers below the
One
Welsh
tier
League.
below.
1 tier below.
Yeah.
Oof.
It's effectively 2 years away from
Welsh League football. Like how much of a difference?
possible European ventures.
Indeed.
We don't know. Well,
how much of a difference to a club like True Thomas Bluebirds, right? If you got promoted to the Welsh League, like, what does that do for the football club?
Well, if we got promoted to the Welsh Premier League, you mean the one where TNS and all those things, Barry have just done now. It'd be great for the community. It'd be great for the club. It'd be great for the community. You've got, and I know the chairmans can't wait to see the little yellow ticker tape thing on the end of Sky Sports with the goal scored for, you know what I mean? So stuff like that. I mean, it's big dreams for that. It would be great for them, for our current manager, for his staff, for the players. Obviously, as you go up a division, or you have to look. You may have to go full time. So you're talking about changing people's
finances. Then
so you got but then bigger. I don't know how much you get in there, but
you'd assume you'd get.
It's so close, but it's still a long way away.
Yeah.
Because there's some really good teams in our league, and it's a slog. So whoever wins the league goes on to automatically up. Whoever comes second goes into a playoff.
Oh, okay.
Whoever wins that goes into it.
So was that playoff against the
South West,
South.
down Mumbles type, the Swansea type area. Jacks, yeah. So so I think if we can get promotion, it'd be fantastic.
Little cup run.
Well, say a cup run, that'd be great as well. But
promotion's the main aim, is it?
Promotion is. I think we won a cup last year, the FAW Amateur Cup, and then we won a cup the year before. So, listen, everyone wants to do great in the cups, and hopefully we will proceed in the cups. But I think more will be put into this year of trying to get promotion as well, and hopefully this time next year when I'm doing another podcast,
we'll be
Clifford gone.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that then? We can do a full hour and a half on Thomas Bluebirds.
Indeed, mate. That's it. No, it's been a pleasure, mate. I'm really looking forward to. I like grassroots football has been a massive thing in my life, like all my life anyway. But like particularly this last couple of years has been special, and I'm looking forward to following them with a camera now. And
I look forward to seeing that. That'd be interesting. That
and they get their little spotlight in it and little interviews and stuff, and they'll be able to see their goals
it's like
back.
Professionalism for them as well, isn't it?
They get to see their goals back for which is a start. So it's going to be great.
Goals against? Will you show them that?
No. Highlight them, slow them down. This is what you've done wrong.
Yeah.
Get Gary Neville on there to analyse all their mistakes. No, it's it's going to be fun. And it's something which they'll be able to keep forever, innit?
Yeah.
Like a memory
Brilliant.
thing, and you know, they're such a close knit team that I think,
It's memories, isn't it? For
yeah,
them?
when you could look
Memories.
back at that, it'd be awesome. No, mate, absolute pleasure.
Top man.
Three in an hour and a bit. Not bad.
It's not bad, that.
Not bad. Guys, please do like, subscribe, share, all the good stuff. Nice one.
Only thing showing is late, be the freak show. Call for your cum, I be checking through the peephole.